What's up everyone, OJ here. Welcome back to another video. Today we're talking about this massive update for the whole Bayonetta 3 controversy slash boycott situation with the former voice actor for Bayonetta and what's going on with this, because it's been absolutely nuts, and we've got some more information detailing potentially what happened here. And it does seem like Hellena left out some crucial information, or there was definitely some loopholes in what was going on based on this report from Jason Schreier, and which is also backed up by a few other journalists out there, which I'll have up on the screen for you guys in just a bit. But let's go ahead and jump right into this here first, guys. Make sure you subscribe, hit the like button, share the video, and of course drop a comment after you've seen the full video. Now, here's what Jason Schreier has to say. First, last weekend, Bayonetta's former voice actor called for fans to boycott the new game, saying she was offered just $4,000 to work on it. Her Twitter videos went viral and stoked the debate over voice actor wages, but the full story is much more complicated. Platinum offered Hellena Taylor between $3,000 and $4,000 per session for at least 5 sessions, according to 2 people familiar with the deal and documentation viewed by Bloomberg. In response, the people said Taylor asked for a 6-figure fee and residuals. Negotiations fell apart. Taylor denies this account. In an email to Bloomberg, she called that version of events an absolute lie and said that Platinum is trying to save their ass with the game. Taylor's videos have received more than 9.5 million views on Twitter and led to a deluge of calls from fans and pundits to boycott Bayonetta 3, but accounts and evidence reviewed by Bloomberg make it clear that those videos were not the whole story. Taylor's videos also led to a barrage of Twitter vitriol and harassment towards Platinum developers and new Bayonetta actor Jennifer Hale, who put out a statement saying she could not comment, and subsequently retweeting a telling thread, which we did cover a little bit beforehand. But yeah, I mean, that thread, I'll have a link for you guys to where you guys can check out what's going on there. Now, Jason Schreier also says it's unlikely that the full story will ever get as much traction or as many eyeballs as the original Twitter videos, which in my opinion raises some interesting questions about pleas to emotion and how information is disseminated in the social media age. So let's talk about this, because I find this whole story to be absolutely crazy. Now, on Twitter, I did go out and say, hold up here, guys. Like, listen, like, where are all the people? We need all the big content creators who originally, made videos, knee-jerk reactions to talk about this, because, people were canceling pre-orders over a 100K deal. And on Twitter, obviously, I'm a bit more sarcastic and stuff like that. I kind of get a little bit more jokingly with things like that. But overall, here's what I'm trying to say from a serious perspective and kind of giving my own take on this. Like, I felt, after her first original videos, I felt empathy towards her. That is factual. If you go to my first videos where I talked about this, I felt empathy towards her. I felt that she was, hurt, that she was replaced as the voice actor. I felt that maybe she was going to be offered a smaller role or whatever the case is, and they're bringing Jennifer Hale in to replace her. But it does seem like they wanted her throughout the whole game, but the price in terms of what they were offering and what she wanted did not line up. So that's the reason why, when I did some more research on what she said, when I really scrutinized what she said, I'm looking and I'm like, some things don't add up. She didn't tell us how many hours she was doing. She didn't tell us how many sessions it would be. She also said that the Bayonetta franchise has made $450 million, not including like merchandise or animes and stuff like that, spin-off type of things, just the games itself. But there's no actual evidence that the Bayonetta franchise has made $450 million. That would equate to them selling around 8 million to 9 million sales, when it comes to games at near full price. And that just doesn't seem to be the case based on any official documentation from Nintendo or Platinum Games. And we know that the best-selling Platinum Games title of all time is Nier Automata with 6.5 million units sold. So it hasn't done above Nier Automata. So the fact that she was trying to say that 450 million, I mean, that was already kind of like, well, wait a minute, hold up here. So it does seem like some of the information was either left out or incorrect in her statements. And that's when I got a little wary about what she was saying and how she was saying it, because then people dug up some more interviews on her talking about what she did for Bayonetta 1 and Bayonetta 2 and how that was 4 sessions and it was about 16 hours of work. So people were looking at that and saying, okay, well, how much were they offering her for? And was that in line with her union wages? So what the union minimum was less than what they're offering here. So they actually offered her above that. So that's where I'm kind of coming from. And that's when I kind of said, you know what, hold up, I don't know about this here. Now, the thing that I don't like, and Jason Schreier touched on it, weaponizing the fan base to kind of attack or kind of, you know, dump hate towards the new voice actor, because you know that's what's going to happen if you bring up Jennifer Hale and tell her that she has no right to sign as Bayonetta. I made that character. That's going to let your fans know, like, hey, you know, attack that person or kind of go after that person because you're kind of speaking in that type of way. You're kind of throwing her under the bus. On top of that, Jean's voice actor is saying, hey, you know what, boycott that person's game. So even for future work that's not even announced yet, or if it does happen, you're saying, hey, that game's also should be tanked too. And I get it. Voice actors definitely need to get paid higher. I completely understand that. And I understand maybe where she's coming from just a bit. But once again, the thing that I don't like is that she weaponized the fan base to try to take down a game that many, many people worked on. What about all those developers that don't get paid $100K a year, you know, or anything like that, that bust their butt on the game as well? Should they not get their bonuses? Because Platinum Games works on bonuses and stuff like that. They work on all of that stuff when it comes down to it. So should they not get something? Should they not have a job? If this game tanks and they can't afford to pay people, should they all go out of business because she didn't get what she wants? You guys see what I'm saying right here? It's slighted. Even if she feels that she wasn't getting paid enough, or even if she wasn't, that doesn't mean everybody else should suffer and not have a chance at, you know, having a successful game. Like, if you don't like what you're getting paid, I feel for you. I've been in those exact same situations where, you know, I don't get paid what I want and I'm upset. But to try to tank everybody's careers there, or tank the game to where they have problems and all that, and weaponize that online, and then also not include all the information and or lie about it, is just something I don't think is the right way to go about it, even if you are upset with your pay. Once again, I want to make sure that I'm very clear with this so nobody misconstrues my words or say that I'm saying something else or I'm completely siding with Platinum Games or anything. Listen, guys, obviously, I love Platinum Games. Obviously, Nintendo's great. I love video games just in general. Microsoft, Sony, whatever the case is. I've spent thousands and thousands of dollars on video games and everything. But what I don't like is that I don't like to see companies go under. I don't like to see developers not get bonuses. I don't like to see a game, especially a game like Bayonetta, which doesn't sell crazy numbers in the first place. This isn't a 3, 4, 5 million seller in the past, you know, and this game, there's a lot riding on it for a lot of these developers and for Platinum, especially after the flop of Babylon's Fall and everything. So there's a lot riding on this, you know. Definitely a dub would be good here, and if this game could do well, that would help out in the future for all of Platinum Games developers, the localization teams, and everybody working on it. I feel for her and what happened here, but based off of this information that we are seeing, there's definitely more that was being left out. There's definitely some issues and some problems, and that's where I kind of stepped in my previous streams and talked about it. You know, if you don't like your pay, that's one thing. You can speak up for wages. You can say, hey, you know, this wasn't enough, and that's what you need to do. You can just do that. Just say, hey, look, I feel like I wasn't paid enough, you know, and I have a problem with that. You know, I feel that I should be paid more based off of this. But to kind of bring up Jennifer, to bring up Jean's voice actor, to do all of that on top of asking for fans who have been waiting forever to boycott it and screw over everybody else, the developers and everybody that's been working on the game, I just feel that was excessive. And if we start doing that for Bayonetta, we got to start doing that for so many other people that have not gotten paid enough for voice acting. So many other franchises, so many other things, cell phones, Nike, if you're wearing Jordans and stuff like that, the money that these people are paid to put together things are, you know, not enough either. So if we start boycotting over things like this, then we're going to start boycotting so many different things. Heck, even after the Activision situation, I told people, hey, you know what, you can make your own decision on what you want to do, but I'm not going to leave behind all the people that were innocent and say that they shouldn't have a job over these people making these mistakes and all of that. And it seems like a lot of people felt the same way because Call of Duty and all these games are still selling like crazy. So in my opinion, that's just kind of how it is. I feel for, you know, Ms. Taylor in terms of what she had to say. She feels that she's worth more, and I'm always advocating for people to get more money if they can. But I feel that the way that she went about it and the information that was left out was definitely not good. And based off of this here, with actual documentation, Jason Schreier would not report on this. And once again, it's been corroborated by a couple other sources out there, you know, when it comes to official reporters in the media, they wouldn't be reporting on this and corroborating it if it wasn't official documentation, if it wasn't something that was right there that they can verify. I mean, I don't think it was a fake paper. The people who actually did this when it comes to the confirmation and kind of went behind the back or whatever the case is, this shadow sneak deal or whatever it is to get these sources, man, to get what happened here. If it wasn't official documentation, they would have never reported on it, because then it makes them look foolish if it comes out to be fake, or if these people actually didn't work at Platinum Games. But obviously somebody went backdoor deal to get this information to them, and I'm almost positive that Nintendo would not like this type of thing, that type of information to leak out. The fact that it leaked so quickly as well, you know, it's one thing for Ms. Taylor to say something because she feels spited or she feels like she wasn't getting enough, so she breaks NDA, but it's another thing for somebody else, you know, in the company to kind of circumvent that, right, and kind of go towards them when it comes to these reporters and do that. And there's multiple reporters that are corroborating the information here, so there was a concerted effort from somebody within Platinum Games or somebody to do with the whole situation to get that information out there in terms of their side, because a lot of it was one-sided. There was a lot of hate, there was a lot of stuff when it comes down to it on Twitter. Now on YouTube, it was a whole separate situation. When it comes to the general, you know, YouTube and people and all that, like, it was a whole different thing. A lot of this, in terms of the anger and all that, was kind of on Twitter. You know, that's where the base of it was, which most of the time it is, and YouTube was different. You know, it is what it is, guys. Like, this is the situation that we have right here. I feel sorry for Ms. Taylor that she wasn't able to get what she felt she was worth, but at the same time, I don't agree with the way that she went about it when it comes to it and trying to take the game, you know, 2 weeks before it comes out, and all the developers and all the stuff like that. I mean, come on, you know, I don't feel that's right, but hey, it is what it is. What do you guys think about all of this? How do you feel about this information that's came to light? Are you going to pick back up your pre-orders? Are you going to buy another copy? Are you still not buying the game? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, click that notification bell, and we will see you for the next video. Peace.